lot. Bloodseeker, got to show some respect to that LGD Seeker for sure.
10 seconds remaining.
And also, you know, decent hero against Invoker. Can't really do anything against Rupture. As Aster still pretty laning focused, just going to go for the Earth Spirit here. We have seen Shaker fall a little bit flat on his face in a couple of games here in this China qualifier, but I feel like LGD are going to kind of be able to get away with it, and especially when they've picked the Enchantress. You know, she doesn't really need a ton of help in lane. So I think they're going to free up their Earthshaker to kind of move around a little bit more, and that's really what you want. You don't want your Earthshaker to feel like he's obligated to sit and salvage a lane. You want him to be bouncing back and forth between two different lanes and hopefully winning them. And I hope you guys will excuse me because I haven't finished breakfast, so I'm going to try and get a couple of mouthfuls in here before the actual game starts, because I'm sure once this game gets rolling, you're not gonna be able to get me to shut up. So. I'll mute my microphone, sure. Alright, PSG.LGD actually taking some time on this pick. Really considering. I feel like it's just going to end up being X-Nova's hero, but what exactly is that going to be? Alright, double melee supports. We do get the Ogre picked up, so... Not that Ogre is necessarily super vulnerable in lane, but... This is interesting. Certainly good with the Enchantress. He's already got high enough move speed. You throw the Bloodlust in there. Definitely pretty nice. I think the Ogre matches up reasonably well against the Earth Spirit. We haven't been seeing these two heroes all that much necessarily in recent memory, as far as, you know, roaming is kind of a little bit dead, and these melee supports have been a little bit less popular, but looks like they might be making a resurgence. But Ogre can definitely match Earth Spirit really well in terms of his pressure in the early game. So, dude. And now we got Pugna. So the last time we saw Pugna, it was D-Stones playing it, but I don't know. So I guess this is now going to be an off-lane Pugna. A little bit interesting. I know Pugna is a pretty good matchup against the Enchantress, so maybe that's what they're trying for here. He's got tons of nuke damage, so very easy to burst the Ench. Decrepify is very, very useful. Actually, a pretty solid all-around counter to Enchantress, but they don't have a whole lot of frontline at the moment. It'll be very interesting to see what Sylar's hero ends up being in this situation. Or maybe Sylar's playing Pugna. Who knows? We'll have to figure it out. Alright. TA coming in. Very classic counter to the Invoker. Some nice synergy there with the Ogre. The one thing that's a little bit worrying for Aster is that they don't really have any ways to deal with the refraction just yet, so we'll see if that's coming up a little bit later in the draft. But PSG.LGD, I feel like even without this last pick, they're not really wanting for too much in terms of their draft. They've got some AoE teamfight from the Shaker, they've got push. They don't have a ton of D-push necessarily. They've got building damage, they've got Roshan taking potential. It's looking pretty good. Team Aster, also kind of the same story. Pretty good team fight in the Invoker. They've got ways to take buildings with the Pugna. So both of these two teams have kind of left this last spot open quite well as far as the draft goes. And that's always a good position to be in, because it means that you've got more room in the hero pool to go with. If you think about a situation where, like, well, we absolutely have to pick a right-click hero, otherwise we literally just can't take a single building this game, we can't win the game. You know, it turns out you actually have to take objectives to win Dota, but so... We'll see. These last few bans will be pretty revealing, I would say.
Dire team's turn to
LGD very much, as always, when you're picking this sort of support Shaker, you're going to be trying to play for his Blink Dagger. Fortunately, Ogre is a very, very capable hard 5, so I don't think the Shaker is really going to be doing too much in terms of contributing to the warding and whatnot. And just, alright. I like that Phantom Lancer ban. They don't really have great ways to deal with it. Good against the Invoker, quite good against the Pugna.
5 seconds remaining.
And I do think that the one thing that Aster may be lacking a little bit of is I'm not sure about how well they go late. right now. LGD, man, what's the Sylar what's the Sylar hero that you ban here? The Drow Ranger is still in the pool. If Aster wanted to do something extremely cheesy, we could see the Drow Ranger strat coming out of them again, but I think that would just be a little bit weird with this lineup. There could potentially be an option. I'm just not sure if they want to lane the Drow in this situation. The nice thing for both of these two teams is that they are up here in the upper bracket, and there are 3 qualification spots for China, so whichever team loses here, it's not going to be the end of the world for them. And the 2 matches that I'm casting today will actually be this match, and then I'm going to be casting the loser of this match up against the winner of... I need to look at the schedule. Yeah, I'm going to be casting the loser of this match versus the winner of eHome versus RNG. So, tons of great Chinese Dota coming your way today. We got a Lycan pickup. We saw a little bit of this yesterday. Some more up-in-your-face action to deal with the Pugna, deal with the Invoker. Very nice pick against the Pugna. Pick up your Necrobook. Don't really care so much about the Decrepify. You've got lots of summons, so it doesn't even matter if like one of your units is getting decrept. Not a big deal. And Aster just going to go for the Troll Warlord. Alright, so AoE blind, pretty decent at man fighting the TA and the Lycan. So not quite as all-in as the Drow Ranger. We did see Sylar playing this yesterday. A little bit of questionable decision-making in the carry role from Sylar yesterday, so we'll see if that's being cleaned up a little bit here. I like the laning pressure of the Troll Warlord as well. He's at least got the option to pick up multiple points in the Whirling Axes early on if he feels like they need that little bit of extra burst to be able to control and bring down the Enchantress, so good pick from that perspective. Somewhat vulnerable against the Shaker, but we did see Sylar going for a pretty tanky build yesterday. He went for the HP talent and then built into an S and Y early on, and that was kind of his solution. And Aster do have some combo breaking potential from both the Bane and the Earth Spirit, so looking out for Fenrir and Baboka to work their magic there. What is that noise? Hopefully that's not being picked up on the mic. Or probably my PC noise is probably louder than the whatever humming is going on outside, but alright. Switch some overlays and let's get into this one. It promises to be good. I'm gonna have some more oatmeal, excuse me. I'm doing this for you guys. I need to be, well, I should have eaten before the cast started, but need to be fueled up for this exciting match. Should be really good. Oh, it's a leaf blower. Well, apologies if you can hear the leaf blower, guys. D-Stones, level 22 Dota Plus Invoker. Alright, but we do have a silver tier as well, so.
Prepare for battle!
No, this is the most mannered I've seen China be so far this qualifier. We've had very few GGs, we've had not very many good luck have funs, but alright, looks like these two teams at least are on good terms. So what do we got? We got maybe TA, we got X-Nova on the Ogre, we got FY Shaker, we got Mr. Chalice on the Enchantress, and finally Ame on the Lycan. Over on Team Aster, Baboka Earth Spirit, Sylar Troll Warlord, Fenrir Bane, XXS on the Pugna. They are trying to match the Pugna up against the Enchantress, and finally we have D-Stones on the Invoker. Exort so far, spamming some Sunstrikes, and he actually he gets maybe there. Alright. But yeah, okay, so a little bit of a lane dodge from Aster. They haven't really revealed this just yet. I don't believe they've seen the Pugna down here. Just the one early observer ward out of the dire side so far, as LGD are looking to contest this bouncer. This is the only one that's really being contested at this point. Chalice dropping really low. He's not all that tanky. The Fisher comes out, but XXS is still going to be able to grab the bounty. So it looks like it is going to be just 2 apiece overall. And Ench already skilling up the Nature's Attendants early on here. So just some damage being traded back and forth. The nuking power of this Pugna Bane lane, very, very potent. Unfortunately, they're not really getting a whole lot of synergy with the Crepify and the Brain Sap, since Brain Sap is pure after all, so I'm not going to be amping it up, but still. Mid lane block, very, very even. Be interesting to see how these first couple of waves go. D-Stone's going to have to pull out all the little aggro tricks, try and dodge the Psy Blades. This is actually, even though it's a TA favored matchup for sure, and you know, eventually her damage on the first few waves, once you get that first or second point up in refraction, can be a big deal, but I think there's still a lot of outplay potential for the Invoker, and we will sometimes even see people going for like early points up in Wex and just trying to drop a surprise Chaos Meteor on the TA and finding a kill that way. So it'll be interesting to see what D-Stone's approach is to this lane, but we've actually got X-Nova TPing down bottom. They are going to be rotating the lanes over on the LGD side. They don't want the Pugna to be up against the Enchantress, but PSG.LGD were the ones who moved first, so they're not actually going to be the ones who get to make that decision. XXS is now up here, and they're going to keep this matchup going. Sylar down here ready to farm. FY sitting in the trees, though he hasn't made the rotation over the top just yet. The Boca also not down here. It's a 3-man Fisher, but it's not going to end up being a kill or anything. D-Stones has a salve waiting, but not in a great spot to use it. But still, 6 and 3, 6 and 3 on this mid lane. Action down bottom. Actually, first blood. Sylar going to pick that one up. FY getting mowed down. Fenrir getting chased now. They do have an Ignite, but X-Nova deciding against using it. Alright, bad time to look away. I'm just interested to see how this lane goes. We've actually got FY TPing in there right this second, but is he actually going to do anything? Is he just dropping off another salve? Oh, D-Stones. Gotta be careful. Fisher coming in. Fairy Fire saves him, but still one more auto attack there. And that F rotation. I don't know, was that? Surely that was spotted, but D-Stone's just taking way too much damage from right clicks there. Oh, they've managed to go on to Fenrir. He does have a Brain Sap, can even turn around and use it. Gets it off, but it's not going to save him. Chalice right clicking him down. And LGD striking across the map there. Even going to be looking towards XXS up here. FY still on the rotation. Yeah, but XXS looks like he's going to be fine. I mean, it's a level 2 Lycan. What can he really do up here? But okay, that was a pretty bad death. Now have level 4 on the TA. If he gets level 6 too quickly, that's going to make life extremely difficult for Invoker, especially if he can't convince his supports to come out here with a Sentry Ward to keep him safe. Oh, and mid lane once again. This is what you want out of the Earthshaker position 4. Just run back and forth, keep applying pressure. D-Stone's going to lose a ton of HP. Still managing to hang onto this salve for now. We got a little bit of action up top, but it's just X-Nova punching up against Boboka. And bottom lane, everybody is just running away from this Pugna. Chalice does not want to be anywhere near him. LGD know exactly which lane matchup they want. XXS, is he done? Is he going to give up on chasing the Enchantress at this point? We'll have to see. Boboka in a bit of a weird spot, but just have the roll to be able to get away. Another Fisher over on the mid lane. D-Stone's just going to lay down the ice wall and run himself back. Even with all this pressure, he's still doing pretty well in terms of CS. 14 and 7 to the TA is 18 and 6. No stacking on the Ancients or anything just yet for this TA. We'll probably expect that that's going to be happening a little bit later on. Fenrir rotating in now. Level 5 TA just puts the refraction up. That gets broken through. Boboka ready with the setup. Comes rolling in. FY though. Nice 3-man Fisher. And D-Stone's actually dropping a little bit low. He continues chasing forward. But Boboka's the one in trouble. He's got the Boulder Smash. So we'll be looking for some kind of a turnaround here. But maybe still got the refraction ready to go. So no real kill potential here on either side. Just a lot of big rotations. D-Stones needs to be careful of these side. He's running straight back. Fisher catches on it too. Fenrir and Boboka, they get the Boulder Smash out, but Fenrir will be brought down. X-Nova is behind the tower. He's now coming in. They do lose the TA, but it looks like PSG.LGD, they've got the numbers in this fight. And one more touch, X-Nova finds himself a double kill. FY only just barely alive. D-Stone's going to be respawning in a couple of seconds. Can he find a random Sunstrike? He's going to be looking for it, and he is actually going to get it. D-Stone's the man. There's vision here, after all. So, you know, it's not completely blind, but still, very nice Sunstrike from D-Stones. In the end, that will be, what? So that was a 2 for 3 on the mid lane. Fortunately for Team Aster, they managed to bring down the PA relatively early on, so she didn't get too much experience from that Cold Snap on mid, but Refraction comes straight up, and maybe he's going to be just fine. And XXS, 30 CS, actually leading the way so far. Pretty even CS split across the board. With all these lane rotations happening and whatnot, it keeps kind of mitigating any real advantage that either side is getting. But Boca rotating over here. I don't believe that this has been scouted. We do also have Xnova going for a solo smoke just to establish some wards on the map. He knows that he's a little bit late to the party here and that there are already going to be Radiant Observer wards down, so the solo smoke just helps to ensure that his wards don't get countered a little bit later on. D-Stone's in big trouble. They're also looking for this kill onto the TA. Refraction on cooldown for 8 seconds time. Are both of the mid laners going to be brought down? It looks like it. Xnova just runs in with the club and gives it to him. Ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange, pretty even on the gold. And how are these side lanes doing with pretty much every support focusing on mid? I thought that this was over. I thought we were done with 3v3 mid. We moved the towers, guys. Like, this is not supposed to be happening, but apparently Ogre just doesn't care about where the tower is at all. He's got 8 armor, he's got a stout shield, and Xnova is just straight up diving. And even just thinking about the next move, he's already got this ward back here, knows that D-Stones is going to be heading back and forth. Tyler dying at bottom. Oops. Yeah, he knows that he's going to be moving back and forth to the jungle, so setting up those gank opportunities a little bit later on. FY has yet another Arcane rune somehow. I don't know, he's got Arcane, Haste, Arcane this game, which has been pretty sweet. D-Stone just has 2 salves. Boy. And they do just manage to keep this sentry out of range of the fire one. But still a little patch where maybe you can start laying down some traps, so yeah, Invoker feeling like he has to just sit here and watch the Invoker farm, but doesn't want to steal his experience either. You can look at his positioning and just be like, you know exactly what's going on. He wants to be there. He's helping out, but D-Stones is telling him, don't touch my experience. More than fair. And yeah, it looks like maybe he's kind of sussed out where this sentry ward is and where he can still put down his side traps. Up turn tower getting pressured, but same thing kind of happening down at bottom.
Top tower is
Chalice, no siege creep or anything. D-Stones, oh, gets a really nice ice wall out just to get a little bit of extra harassment on the. It's not going to matter too much, but little play, and Enchantress dead at bottom.
Alright,
I am. Too much happening across the map here. FY thinks about throwing out the Fisher, but just knows he can't finish the kill on Baboka. Okay, he doesn't get the maximum luck this time around, but they are going to give this regen over to the TA. Fenrir's fighting for it. They get the Boulder Smash cancel on the TP. Up top, it's actually action onto Sylar. He's getting completely surrounded in by the creeps here. Fortunately, the wolves despawn, but Ame's got the ultimate and he still keeps chasing. There's another Whirling Axis soon. The mischance helping to keep Sylar alive. He's got some wand charges, but it looks like it's just not going to be enough. Baboka comes in, actually. Now with the Boulder Smash, Sylar, it's one more touch. Xnova needs this Fire Blast roll forward from Baboka. Still making the space. Sylar is now safe inside of the tree line. Okay, those wand charges were actually enough to save him at the end of the day. Is there a shrine? No. So, alright. Sylar sent packing all the way back to base. Has opted for quite a few points in the Whirling Axes early on this game. D-Stone's just going to be going for some treads. No sign of a Midas or anything just yet. And Chalice is just going to be going for a Foot of Defiance. We've been seeing this a lot as of late, but a bit of two-pronged pressure coming in from LGD here. We've got the Lycan pushing top, the Enchantress is threatening bottom, and the TA using space to just back up, farm some Ancients, start accelerating. Pugna is still the #1 last hit scorer on the board, and actually #1 on net worth at the moment as well, so XSS having a pretty fantastic game, and should be able to pick up this Aether Lane pretty quickly. Fender and Baboka are rotating around, but they probably don't know that FY is up here. They pop down the Observer Ward, they will see him, and they are just going to call it a day, but this might end up being dewarded. So Lycan's got his Dominator. TA, is she going Blink first or Deso first? Looks like it is going to be the Desolator. And these these two wards that X-Nova planted earlier, just because he used the smoke to come and plant them, makes them that much more difficult to D-ward. They did get this D-ward over here on the mid lane successfully. I think that was just collateral damage on the fact that they were trying to keep the TA traps away from mid, but yeah, if you're behind in the ward game, then using a solo smoke can be well worth it, just to make sure that you keep your vision stuck down. All I'm going to do is best to keep on holding on to this top tower. Not really in a position to start farming Ancients just yet, but once he is, you'll definitely expect to see him moving away from top and start utilizing some Ancient farm. They're going to go into the Chalice. The Boulder Smash actually catches on the boat. FY can't get the Fisher off, but looks like they don't quite have the damage. XXS trying with the life drain. The Fisher blocking him in somewhat. Now Chalice is going to come back. He's got impetus shots ready. There is a Decrepify though, so XXS not feeling too worried. X-Nova actually runs back into the Sunstrike. FY getting linked down, but not dead just yet. That will be it for this little engagement at bottom. PSG gonna go and hit a 3-man shrine. Maybe still just alternating between farming up the mid lane and farming the Ancients. Not even really trying to put too much pressure down. There are a couple of sentry wards all over the place here. So he's just gonna have to be content with farming for now. X-Nova running. They really want this XXS kill. Can they coordinate it? He's only got enough mana for a Decrepify. Fenrir is ready to help out, but he's used the Nightmare already, and this Centaur Conqueror is moving forward. They lock down FY. XXS does manage to escape. Fenrir, the noble support, the position 5. He's only got 1k net worth. Puts his body on the line, and well worth it to save his Pugnet in that situation, who is still close to the top of the board here in net worth. But Sylar is claiming the top spot. And it is actually the first 2 towers of the game being taken out by Aster. Only a sub 1k net worth lead at the moment, so it's sort of tower gold on the Radiant side and then ancient gold going the way of LGD over on the other side. So once they start taking these towers, things are going to equalize a little bit. How are we doing on levels for the Bane? Not all that close to level 6. And PSG.LGD are just going to be able to pressure down here bottom, and looks like they are going to be taking their first tier 1 tower of the game. Fenrir is lurking, but he's only interested, I think, in a little bit of experience. I don't think he has any intention of trying to make any bold plays to defend this tower. Sylar loving the space up top, shoves it all the way in, comfortably sitting in the Dire jungle. Can't go too deep, doesn't have a ward around here or anything like that, but does see a bunch of heroes on the opposite side of the map. They've got a Sunstrike coming in. They're looking for this FY kill, and they will get it, but both he gets the silence out, keeping himself alive. Like an ultimate is being popped. Fenrir is dragging the way to the other side of the fight, and Sylar comes in with the Whirling Axis to protect, but now he's the one who might be in a little bit of trouble. Chalice still has plenty of mana for impetus shots, but Sylar's actually pretty fast. And between the Decrepify and the Whirling Axes, they're making life difficult for these right-clicking heroes. Chalice is trying, but it's just not doing enough. The Sylar, that's 2 or 3 misses in a row. Now they jump in. Chalice gets bursted, drained of all of his life. That's a great little trade for Aster, and XXS just going to keep on chasing forward. He wants the Satyr if he can get it. He does have the Dominator off cooldown, and yeah, going to be just fine.
Radiant's middle tower could
maybe just takes this as his chance to pressure mid lane a little bit. He did change his mind. He is going to be opting for the Blink Dagger first, and then heading back for the Desolator this game. It can kind of be argued that Blink is still a farming item on TA. It's a little bit of extra mobility, so it gets you around the map faster, which gets you farm. But the other big thing, and I think this is similar to the first item BKB that we saw on a Bloodseeker yesterday, is it lets you go for farm that you otherwise wouldn't be able to take on the map. Like, he can play just that little bit more aggressively and be that little bit more secure in knowing that even if they go on him, so long as he has Refraction up, then he's probably going to be just fine. And still going to be a very timely Desolator all the same. Already 1.1k gold. Only needs those 2 Mithril Hammers, which is the majority of the item, yes, but still doing alright. X-Nova with a very prompt D-ward. Lots of sentries being bought up by both sides. Why not getting involved in the ward war, though? He is still slowly but surely working his way towards the Blink. He's only got 9 CS to his name, so this is pretty much all passive gold and assists. You got a smoke coming through. Sylar up into the high ground. They spot X-Nova. Baboka rolling forward onto him. Does connect it nicely. Sunstrike coming in. D-Stones picking up that killing spree bounty. And Aster rotating through to grab the tier 1 tower. FY wants to fight. Fisher gonna split them up somewhat, but Sylar does still manage to get the last hit on that tower. And TA pressuring bottom all the while, but Boca TPing down here now. They had eyes on TA up until a second ago. Eaststones has that Aghanim Scepter going. 1k gold away at this point. Yes. Yeah, X-Nova, I'm not even going to click on him anymore. His inventory is not going to be changing for a long time. But I think that's how he likes it. He knows that his team is getting the farm. They're doing what they need to do, and he's just going to keep up the Warden. I've got a Veil picked up for this Pugna. Alright. They do have a lot of magical damage, especially the Magnetize from the Earth Spirit, so I like the synergy here. It's a little bit of survivability for him as well. I don't think the armor is going to do that much with his teensy HP pool, but still nice to have, certainly. And Sylar, what's the build for him, actually? He's going to be going for a very early Manta style, first item. What's this mostly for? I guess there's like enough things that you can kind of disjoint and dispel and ignite, dodge and impetus, get some more damage instances against the TA. Fenrir is looking very dead up top. That Nightmare not helping out at all. And this, I was wondering if he was even gonna bother waking himself up, but yeah, his hero does push a little bit faster than one of the small wolves, so there you go. XXS going for a Ghost Scepter. Alright. What, so if he decrepifies himself and then he gets purged off by the Necrobook, then he just pops Ghost Scepter? So, but he can, what, he can decrepify into Ghost, and then he can decrepify again for a total of 11 seconds of, 11 seconds of Ethereal State? Oh man, that's gonna be fun. We'll see. So long as he doesn't do that around the time that, FY is looking to Echo Slam him, then he'll be just fine. Aster with another poke. They've burned through a couple in these last couple of minutes. They see the Lycan farming up here on the high ground, but they can't get a catch onto him. Sylar just wants this Dominator creep if he can get it. Baboka got a Boulder Smash, but maybe a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. Could they have had Fenrir closer to the front there? I don't even know if that would have changed things too much. X-Nova just lurking around the corner here gets spotted. Easy kill. And Sylar with some quick T-wards. They're still just waiting on this TA. Desolator's going to get delivered in a couple of seconds, so it's mostly TA, Desolator, and Earthshaker Blink that they're playing for at the moment. The Necro 3 is also up in the Lycan, so LGD, while it might seem like they haven't done a whole lot in the last couple of minutes, they're mostly just hunkering down and waiting for their timings, and it's going to become a question of how do those timings match up against the timings that Aster are bringing to bear. They've got the Aghanim Scepter on the Invoker, they've got a bunch of items on the Pugna. He's decided against the Ghost Scepter and has now queued up a Blink Dagger here, as it looks like Sylar has completed his Manta style. I wonder if he can actually just Roche with this Manta. Use it to tank a little bit. He certainly can once he gets the Morbid Mask, and that's the other nice thing about the Troll Warlord this game, is talked about it yesterday, and Team Aster kind of did this in one of their matches yesterday, but picking the Troll Warlord into the Ursa, just having another hero that can Roshan super early, because TA is normally expecting to just play with Aegis. You're thinking, okay, I'm gonna find an opportunity, and I'm gonna be able to play with Aegis. XXS getting run at here. The Purge is being used, so now we can just go for the Decrepify, and they have a secondary Purge, but nothing to interrupt the TP out. Fiend's Grip coming from Fenrir. Sunstrike doing decent damage. They might need a couple of bashes. TA jumping right in on top of the Bane. Beaststone's also a little bit exposed. He's got the Tornado to space, and Lycan was brought down successfully by Sylar. He's chasing forward, but X-Nova is here for the assist. Blink Dagger coming back off cooldown in 3 seconds time. Baboka really wants this though. Boulder Smash only going to catch one. FY trying to stay clear so that he can get that Fisher off and buy the space. On the other side of the fight, XXS is draining down Chalice, but he's got the heal, so he's going to be okay. X-Nova gets burst. Jeez. He looked healthier than that, but I guess the Decrep plus the Veil, that is a lot of damage. So, alright, out of that fight, pretty good for Aster. They only lose Fenrir. They do pick up the Lycan, little bonus kill in the Ogre. Not going to be able to go and take Roshan or anything here, but Still hovering very close. 11 to 11, less than a 1k lead in it right now. And no real huge changes coming up. I would say that the FY Blink is going to be the big thing to watch out for. He's already got a smoke in his inventory, and that would definitely be the timing that LGD are playing for here. Chalice has just picked up a Force Staff, and very defensive build overall, going for the hood, into the Force Staff, now heading back for EKB. I guess just feeling like he can't really do enough in these fights. He's only got 830 HP to his name. That base strength nerf hurts a lot. This would be a bold play to just walk straight into Roshan, but that's what they're doing at the moment. They don't even have the TA there just yet, so not as fast as it could be, but they do have the Enchantress to tank it, so this is pretty safe Rosh. They're not really taking too much damage. And Aster, do they really not realize what's going on? Okay, they do. Sunstrike's coming in. Roshan at about a third. They're coming over. Sylar is just going to be the first one charging into the pit, but he can't really stop it, and now he's isolated by the Fissure. Tornado trying to find some space, but both also going to come rolling in. He's got the full smash ready. It only catches out onto one. FY jumping into the back lines with the blink, but they've only brought down Baboka. Sylar managing to find space in this fight, as FY is just getting drained out by XXS. Sylar now getting wailed on, however, by 4 PSG.LGD heroes. He'll be brought down. I was surprised that Sylar survived for as long as he did, but I guess FY was going for D-Stones instead. Nicely played by Baboka. I mean, LGD did a good job of splitting up and only giving him the one-man boulder smash, but LGD, they do get what they wanted. They got the Aegis, they claimed Roshan, they got the Aegis on the Templar Assassin. Maybe already has 3k gold towards his BKB here. So he is just going to be an absolute monster in these upcoming fights. And for those next few minutes, it's going to be tough for Aster. I think if they, there are ways for them to kind of fight up against him. The Troll Warlord's still a pretty good man fighter in this situation, but TA definitely queen of the map at the moment. But Aster are looking for something here. They have all 5 heroes in the top lane, but LGD be even realizing what's going on here, not seeing anybody over at bottom farming or anything like that. They're just actually going to back themselves up and wait for these 2 BKBs. 2.8k gold, and we've already got the Ogre Axe picked up for the Falcon, so he's also very close. And that double BKB timing, which is classic China Dota, just wait for your BKBs. That is going to be really difficult for Aster to do. But Sylar also queuing up BKB here, but I don't know. I feel like his BKB is not as strong as the LGD BKBs. The LGD BKBs are pretty much completely shutting the Invoker and the Pugna out of the game. So that's 2 out of 3 cores for Aster that just don't really do anything once those BKBs are up. Meanwhile, on the other side, LGD have Lycan and TA, who just don't really care about the BKB as much. So in terms of the relative strength of these BKBs, I feel like Sylar is much less impressive, but still going to be important for him. FY, another Echo Slam in 17 seconds time, so that's probably another cooldown that they're just waiting for before they make another aggressive move. We're even now on towers, and for the first time in a little while, we do have a bit of a net worth lead in LGD's favor. Only about 2k. They keep nursing that and keep building it up. This Enchantress is still not doing great. I feel like Enchantress has not been looking great the last couple of days in the qualifier. What was her win rate anyway? Looks like we're not. There's no defense in this tower, so I've got a second to just quickly look over here. Yeah, Enchantress has 14 picks, so 57 bans, but only 14 picks, and in those 14 picks, only a 35% win rate. We did see a little bit of support Enchantress here and there, and whatnot, but I would not be surprised to see this hero's stock falling a little bit. Alright, LGD just going to take the time to force Aster all the way back to defend, but Sylar is still staunchly farming over on the other side of the map. And how long do we have on this Aegis? A minute and a half, so looking like LGD, best case scenario for them here is that maybe they get this tier 2 tower as well. There is a glyph for Aster to defend, so they're going to have to be careful about not lingering too long, but I mean, even without the Aegis, double BKB is very potent. Ame still not picking up boots just yet, just relying on the Bloodlust move speed to get around, and it is a max Bloodlust build out of X-Nova. Not that unusual, but worth mentioning. But yeah, they're gonna Aster are going to have to take a couple of team fights to wear these BKBs down before their Invoker and Pugna can really come back to the game. Unless XXS is capable of, like, unless one of them is capable of picking up a Hex. In which case, you know, that's going to change the complexion of this game significantly, but neither one of them is really close at the moment, so it's more a hypothetical than anything.
Gotcha.
Sylar comes forward to farm some Ancients. I'm just going to say hello to him coming up this cliff. They do have the Purge ready. Tornado going to catch the creeps. Is still chasing forward. Can they find out? Baboka's just around the corner here. He's trying to roll his way out, but FY's on the chase. He's already used the blink. Boulder smash backwards. He's going to clip him. Still no rolling boulder for 3 seconds time. And Baboka just getting chunked. Yeah, this is all they can do. Just keep split pushing for a little bit. Hopefully find some pickoffs. Wait for Sylar to get his BKB, and then probably needs another item after that. And then we can talk for Team Aster. And Refraction dispels for the TA. Alright. Pretty handy this game. Good against the Cold Snap especially. Why? Oh, got the blink. But he's being straight up Fiend Script. I've also got the Sunstrike. D-Stone secures that one. More help towards his BKB as well. Mostly just support pickoffs in the last couple of minutes. Core is not really sticking their necks out too much. LGD doing their best to kind of control the Radiant jungle and constrict space around here, but it looks like Aster have also managed to get a couple of D-wards around the place, and they'd love to have some deep vision over here on the dire side of the map, just to make this split push up top feel a bit safer, but not easy to do so. But at least while the Earthshaker is dead, initiation is not as potent for LGD, or the pickoff catch is not so great. I was talking about a Hex for Aster, but it's actually going to be Hex next item that maybe is working his way towards at the moment, so that's going to be another great way to catch these pesky split pushers from Aster and kind of make them pay. Create that opportunity to be able to push up onto the high ground, because you can kind of see anytime that LGD, if they bring too many heroes down bottom or anything like that, then Pugna is hiding in trees, blinking around, and spamming the wave out. And having seen a couple of heroes top, Aster do know that they can now maybe push forward into their own jungle and try and reclaim this. But Chalice is not farming anything dangerous. He's all the way over here on this big camp. Just fine. Oh, and D-Stones finds the Dominator creep. Alright, nice 200 gold for him. X-Nova somehow always finds these sneaky opportunities to come in here and get wards down. I don't think he's been spotted on this rotation at all, but and he's actually just barely managed to avoid the sentry locations as well. I mean, this is his sentry, but just for illustration's sake, if the sentry ward was right up here on the cliff, then this is still out of range. So X-Nova, as always, great ward game. They got TA traps all over the place here as well, ready for this upcoming fight. Sylar sitting on the front lines, but needs to be careful. 5 seconds to go on the blink for the Earthshaker. XXS sitting behind, waiting to try and save potentially, but still just kind of a continuing lead being built up by LGD. Looks like maybe they wait around for another Roshan here. Do we have a smoke or something for Aster? Baboka. They're trying to D-ward around here. He missed the roll, but oh man, are they gonna go for a smoke right on top of this ward? I see Fenrir. I'm just wondering how much they're gonna end up seeing of this. Aster are clearly up to something. They got 3 heroes just milling around here on top of each other, but how will LGD respond to this is kind of the question. Lycan's now got an AC. Oh man, this net worth lead is actually translating into some pretty significant items. Spot the smoke perfectly. LGD, the only question now is how they respond. FY going to get in a good position. The TA's already got the Hex picked up, so this is AC and Hex worth of advantage. There's no spare gold floating around anywhere. There's barely any buybacks. Not a single buyback available for this fight. So this is both teams pretty much at full strength, but LGD with the advantage on the vision game. They've got the information Aster trying to claim this high ground, but LGD not coming anywhere near. They're not going to have it. They want this high ground of their own. The trees really nicely. The creep waves are going to start giving this away a little bit. Bottom lane pushing in, and Aster looks like they are just going to call it a day. So unsuccessful smoke, bit of wasted time for them, but LGD not really getting a lot out of that last couple of minutes either, though. They now smoke up. Roshan's going to be back up in 40 seconds time, so both teams know that they're in the window here, doing their best to play the lane control game and find a random pickoff. Single pickoff at this point. As we saw earlier, very few buybacks available, so could just lead to a free Roshan. Both teams relatively quick at taking it. Troll Warlord starting to build up enough damage. They found the Lycan up here on the high ground. He's going to be able to get into his ultimate, but they've been trapped in by the Fisher. Silas is going to pop BKB, chops wood, and down goes Lycan. Ame caught D-warding, it looked like. Just in a terrible position. And it's LGD who gets caught. Roshan going to be up in a couple of seconds time, right as Sylar walks into the pit. 1 second. Alright, Roshan's up. Things coming in. Both teams are aware there is a side trap in here. It would behoove Aster to get rid of that, but with the Alacrity Troll Warlord, they're making pretty quick work of this. FY wants to come in. He's got the Echo Slam. How many can he find? He jumps in. It's Echo out onto 2. They've got the TA coming in at the exact same moment, but they've got a Fiend's Grip. Fenrir in a great position. He's controlling the TA through this entire trade. They can't get the Fisher off, courtesy of the Cold Snap D-Stones. He's doing work. Sylar's still alive. They saved him with the decrypt. He's trying to man up here, but he actually gets finished off by Chalice. They did need him, I think, to finish off this Roshan potentially. We'll have to see Chalice unable to force staff up onto the high ground, but can they finish this Roshan without their Troll Warlord? That is the question. It was a really well executed initiation from LGD, but the supports from Aster just sitting outside patiently. They even find FY a little bit further up, and Sunstrike him down. And yeah, it looks like with that, even without the Troll Warlord, they are going to be able to secure this Roshan for themselves. D-Stones himself doing plenty of right-click damage, and the big guy doesn't have as much magic resistance as he once did, so Pugna's still able to help out. Like, he's going to try for something here, but he's not going to deny it or anything like that. D-Stones doesn't... His fingers aren't that slow. And a regen to boot. Why not? X-Nova's in here. Hello. X-Success would be happy with that kill. See some Dagon action. Oh no, Sunstrike also coming. Okay, that's 2 missed spells from D-Stones. Sunstrike just missing, Deafening Blast just whiffing as well. But that was really well done by Aster. I mean, all of that was just Lycan kind of... All of that was Ame dying like this, right? If he isn't trapped here and they're like... The number 2 net worth hero in the entire game doesn't just randomly get beat to death by Sylar because he's trapped in a prison of his own making, then yeah, I think that would have been a very, very different situation. But Aster fully capitalizing on that opportunity, and we're now down to a 3k net worth difference for this game. Man, does there have to be gardening going on right outside my room right this second? Is this absolutely necessary? Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I promise it'll wrap up soon. Success now has an Aeon Disc picked up, so he's going to be very difficult to deal with. FY, a little bit of a deviation from what has become common build. Looks like he is going to be going for a Yule Scepter. Ah, there you go. Nice peace and quiet. But yeah, going for the Yules before the Aghanim Scepter in this situation. And there's still really nothing to his name. Would like a Ghost Scepter, but not going to be easy. And FY goes blinking forward here. Baboka's in a pretty good position to catch him, and he does do so. Not the best coordination. He's being hexed down, but they do still have a BKB and an Aegis on him, so I think he's going to be alright. First life almost gone, but Fenrir once again in such a good position. He's getting these full duration Fiend's Grips out every single time. Baboka's even still alive. Maybe getting chunked down by the Cataclysm, and he's getting kited around. Chalice now just getting chunked by Sylar. Ame coming under the backlines. The Deafening Blast, a little bit of a whiff, and D-Stones looks like his first life might get taken out here. I don't think the Ghost Walk is going to do enough for him. They do have the Necro 3 here waiting. He gets a tornado right onto both the move speed, and now he's actually away. Sylar continues to fight, just man fighting up against maybe. They get through the refraction, but the BKB's still there. Chalice coming back after the buyback. Sylar with the last second cheese wants to continue fighting, but all 3 cores from PSG.LGD are going to put him down. Babuka wants to keep on fighting, but without D-Stones to do damage, looks like they are just going to all get cleaned up. One final Hex onto the Bane. and LGD. It's an expensive team fight win with two buybacks coming out at the end of the day, but still, they will walk away with that win. Aegis still intact on the Invoker, so they're going to have that for another 2 minutes, but LGD now with a big opportunity to march down the middle lane. There is a glyph available for the Radiant, so that's at least a little bit of good news for them, and it's at the longest a 50 seconds respawn for the Bane. But this lineup does push extremely quickly. Invoker going to do his best to defend. He's only level 20, so doesn't have that crazy tornado just yet. The glyph coming in pretty early, but there's also Radiant siege creeps getting involved in on this push. Watch that tower melt. Deafening Blast helps a tiny bit, but I don't think it's enough. D-Stone's doing everything that he can, but it is actually going to be LGD claiming the first lane of Rax here. A brief stumble, losing the Lycan and losing the Roshan, but they are right back on top. But I gotta say, Aster are doing well. I mean, given that this is the PSG.LGD, your runners-up at the most recent international, you know, I think for almost everybody, the favorites in a lot of ways for that tournament as well. And Aster are still giving them a run for their money. Invoker just picked himself up a Shiva's Guard here. I was wondering if he might go for maybe a Lincoln's or something like that, but it's just going to be opting for the Shivas instead. I don't know if is the Shivas a meaningful amount of survivability. I guess if they keep adding everything up, they've got the blind from the troll, it's got the Shivas, might actually be able to take a few right clicks without being brought down and get the opportunity to use some spells. TA and level 25 just yet, but does have a double damage with about half the duration. Ame going to be looking for the wraparound. He's actually got a Shadow Blade. Baboka in the spot to find out FY. They don't catch the Boulder Smash out onto 2, and the Cataclysm not doing anything. A good bit of team play from LGD as they will save FY. Baboka trying to roll out of there, but the X is going to stop at X success, making the defensive plays with the Decrepify, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. FY jumps forward, and Baboka will be the first one to fall in this fight. Lycan now looking for his opportunity. He comes in, they get the TA trap slow onto D-Stone. That's going to be life number 1. The Hex still on cooldown for 5 seconds, but they are surrounding him, and looks like Aster just can't make their way into this fight. D-Stone finds a good angle for the tornado. It catches out onto a couple. There's the Deafening Blast, but FY is waiting, not for the interrupt, but just to find the kill. He's got enough damage with the Enchant Totem, and that is a 3-for-0 fight, well, 4-for-0 fight with the Aegis being claimed. D-Stone's in the ground for 70 seconds, and PSG.LGD lining up a secondary lane of Rax here. And I think maybe could even just blink in aggressively if he wanted to. Gets a bit of vision onto Sylar. XXS wants to blast this out, but also knows he has to be careful about his positioning. FY is also going to be looking for this. He's just in range for the Fissure. He's also happy for his team to just take the building, and they don't need to force an engagement. X-Nova runs interference. It's going to get drained out a little bit. Baboka's chasing him, but this is just the Ogre Mega kill, and X-Nova, he's smiling. He's just fine with what just happened. So, I guess now we back up. LGD, they take some shrines, they establish some map control, they look for another Roshan. I think at this point Aster need the Rosh to be able to win this game. They 100% need Aegis on this Troll Warlord to make up for this net worth discrepancy, and they really need a refresher on the Invoker to actually get these kills. I think the LGD BKBs are still healthy. Look at this, Lycan still has a 10-second BKB. The TA down to 7 seconds, but I think this is also, yeah, an 8-second BKB on Chalice. They've been doing just fine in these fights, even without using their BKBs, which is a little bit surprising. And I just don't really know if I've been feeling the impact of the Aster BKBs. Okay, he's just popping the ultimate to grab a little bit of farm here. He's going to be going for a Nullifier, so got Orchid Nullifier, build your own doom. Coming up between those two heroes. FY did get his Yule Scepter, still 2k away from his Ags, but even with those 2 lanes of Rax, it's only a 12k and with discrepancy. It just feels like the troll needs so many more items to actually be scary in these fights. Like, he still wants a kind of a full butterfly satanic sort of situation, or like Scotty butterflies, or I don't know, Scotty satanic. Just really feels like Sylar hasn't been able to commit to these fights in the way that he wants, because he's actually still just getting sliced apart by the impetus, the right clicks from the TA. who now has a Bloodthorn. Oh lordy. FY leading the way. Do they have any vision here? They've got a scan landing successfully. Sylar walks over the side trap. They see him up here on the high ground. If they could just jump in with the Hex. They are a little bit worried about running up this choke point. They're going to send X-Nova first. The smoke gets broken. Baboka, the first one focused. He is getting saved a little bit by the Decrepify, but he's now gone. They've got the Echo Slam out into the Pugna, silencing him now as well. Beaststone's looking for the combo, but FY avoids it with the Yule Scepter. They are going to get the grip over on the TA. Sylar chopping wood and finishes off maybe. Beaststone's kiting with his Yule Scepter, but Ahmed's got him surrounded and finished off. Sylar now finds himself in the midst of 3 heroes. He also hits the deck. They've got 2 core buybacks available for Aster, so they can continue this fight. XXS trying to survive, but there's just too many purges. The Decrepify not doing anything. This last pick, Lycan, putting in so much work for PSG.LGD. They finish those kills, they finish the shrine. Roshan going to be respawning in about 30 seconds time, and even with that nice Fiend script from the Bane, it just seems like Aster can't quite do enough. We're getting to the point of the game where the Earth Spirit is starting to kind of feel like a poor man's Earthshaker in a lot of ways. The impact that FY can have is just so much once he gets to these items. Like, you know, you got 1 stun on Earth Spirit. That's cute and all. But this guy has 3 stuns, and it's really starting to show up in these fights. Anyone who's getting hexed or stunned up, they're 100% dead. Aster just can't quite seem to save them. You know, they have kind of half saves, right? Decrepify is like half a save, and then you know, a defensive grip or a boulder smash is kind of half of a save, and a defensive nightmare is so add it all together, it's enough to get through the early game to the mid game. But now that we're at this point, there's just so much lockdown from LGD. All right, Dairosh. They were trying to leave it until are they just guarding this until the TA comes in here? I guess so. Alright, they picked up the refresher and the cheese, and yeah, the Aegis is just waiting for maybe to come and grab it.
Immortality.
A little bit of lost efficiency. Could have put those power treads in his backpack a little bit later, but I don't think there was any risk of Aster being able to come out and grab that. And unfortunately with that, I think that might have been Aster's last hope. This game extinguished. They had to win a fight. Like, they wanted to use those buybacks to win the Roche fight, to get the Aegis and the cheese and the refresher shard, and then that would hopefully make up for their ability or the net worth discrepancy in the next fight, and they could kind of go from there. I don't really see much of a path for them at this point. LGD can probably just rat it out if they really wanted to, but where's the fun in that? I want to see some big FY double dunks. I'm just not sure about this. And you know what? I think Troll Willard was a good pick here. I don't know if the troll was necessarily the problem. It's just that he needed more farm than he ended up having, or than he ended up having room to get. Part of that might be just having the Quasi-Sword Invoker. They kind of had 2 heroes that they were waiting around for this game. And both teams for a little while there in the early game were very content to farm, but it just sort of turned out that those first few items for LGD were that bit more impactful. And I go back to talking about the impact of the relative strength of BKB for each side. It's an amazing BKB game for LGD. Their heroes are just completely untouchable, more or less, with LGD. I mean, with the BKB, because we have seen a couple of Fiend scripts and stuff here, you know, heroes still dying after BKB gets popped, but the strength of the BKBs for Aster just doesn't seem so great. Not saying that they should have gone for a different item necessarily. I can still totally understand why they wanted it, but that's just sort of how the 2 drafts match up at this stage. And oh, interesting. We got the Enchant Effects Ancients talent here. So got some big creeps getting involved. That's gonna help. Enchanter's feeling just that little bit tankier with the aura from the golem. Oh. FY hopping around. Wait out the nether ward, I suppose. But yep, they're just getting sieged out. And is he going for this here? Okay. Shadow blading into the base. He's gonna get spotted in a second. They see him now. Or maybe not yet. Necrobook mysteriously appearing out of nowhere. Wonder what that could have been. But yeah, LGD shoving in on two different sides. And now just going to be going back for the runes. There's an arcane waiting down bottom. I don't know if they're just playing for a double damage or what the situation is. But it seems like they are being very disciplined about closing this out. Do not want to risk. They've I don't know. The LGD have gone through some stuff recently. I'm sure that they would any game that they throw at this point, they would be kicking themselves 100 times worse. So long as they're able to do that and not kind of swing too far in the opposite direction of playing too cautiously, but there's no reason to let Aster out from under their thumb. And they've even got room for items. You know, there's still moonshards, there's still BOTs. Ame finally has some boots, so he's actually getting around the map a little bit faster at this stage. I mean, hell, X-Nova's even got some gold. He's got a blink and a glimmer cape. So he is pretty happy with his lot in life. Damn it. Oh, Courier
has been killed.
He's gonna get it. That was the Reaver for... Oh, he's got a lot of gold. Not a whole lot of item progression in the last couple of minutes. FY's thinking about it. Jumps in. They're going for this Troll Warlord. They are going to be able to save him just a little bit. That sleep is there. He gets out of the Hex. They're turning things around. FY is going to be able to jump away, so he's just fine. The silence not quite in time. Sunstrike is looking for him, but not enough to bring him down. So nice defensive plays from Aster, but still not really any skin off PSG.LGD's back. They do still have the Aegis for a couple of seconds, but just about to be reclaimed out of Maybe's hands. It's going to be a little bit longer because he picked it up late. That's actually how Aegis works. It's like 5 minutes from when he picked it up. It's not 5 minutes from when Roshan died. So I guess we'll see. Is it really this long? I'm interested. Yeah, okay, there you go. Alright, that's the tier 3 dead, with pretty much no commitment. I don't even know what you do at this point if you're Aster. I guess they try and wait for their... They do try and wait for their item on the Troll Warlord. Oh. Sylar, farming by himself. He is bugged in the stun animation here. You okay, Sylar? Oh, man. I'm just trying to think of the best way to sum up what kind of happened in this game. We had all the musical lanes at the beginning with trying to avoid the Enchantress being matched up against the Pugna. It ended up being a little bit of a whatever match for the Enchantress, but, you know, it's not a big deal. It was a super early pick for them when they did first phase it, so not completely surprising to see that it has been kind of counterpicked a little bit. Troll is still stuck in this stupid pose. And LGD still just building this net worth. Dude, 30k now. You know, we gotta get it set up so that if they do lose, it's we gotta get into that that biggest throw territory. That just does not seem very likely at this point. What do we got? Dagon 3 on Pugna. D-Stone's working his way towards that Hex. Gonna take him a little bit longer to complete that. Sylar just waiting for the Courier to pop back up so that he can grab his Satanic. And FY is going to be building up a Lotus Orb, but running a little bit low on inventory space to be able to carry that one. Can still have a 9-second BKB. Yeah, this guy's still got a 9-second BKB 49 minutes into this game. What is going on here? Oh god, +3 wolves summoned. Oh boy. This is this really how this goes? Is this really how we're doing this? Watch, as soon as I start complaining, that's in yep, alright, yeah. As soon as I start complaining, that's when Aster is smoking outside of the base. They're trying to make a play, but this could just be the game right here. Sylar getting stunned up. No BKB pop just yet, still surviving. With the help from the Manta, they're gonna drop one ultimate onto Baboke. He gets chunked, down he goes. They're gonna save the Troll Warlord, still has the Satanic in the BKB. Pops it now, looking to turn around and lifesteal up a little bit, but he's not actually getting anything off of the refraction. Chalice is okay, he's got the Force Staff to get him a little bit further away. Maybe really committing, but this is all just the ploy because the Lycan's inside the base getting mega creeps. But Boca interrupts as he tries to make his escape. This is his second life for this fight, and he's now out of the game for 90 seconds. I don't know if he's even going to see another respawn. Enchantress very low. It has the heal, so she's going to be okay. And yeah, top lane of Rax. Done. But that was always going to happen, and it looks like Aster keen to keep on playing. You know, they had a pretty let's call it a salty GG yesterday, losing was it to Serenity in 23 minutes or so. They didn't even like fully defend the high ground. Sylar was off pushing a tier 1 tower here as they were losing the game, and they just called it. But it does seem like against LGD they really want to play this one all the way out. Even just the position that maybe is farming in here says so much about the state of this game. They're going to jump in, Hex on the Sylar, force the defensive abilities, create an opportunity for the Lycan to go in. These stones forced into his BKB, but also going to be forced to the Ghost Walker. Those impetus shots keep on flying. Ame's looking for the supports here, going to pop the BKB, charges through, brings down Fenrir. Buyback from the Bane, 20 seconds to go on the Earth Spirit. Earthshaker looking like he's going to be okay. FY forced to reset. XXS has his Aeon Disc popped. Ame about to run out of his ultimate, so it's just going to reset for a second, but Chalice wants blood. He's throwing spears all over the place, and they've actually managed to catch out Sylar, and a little bit too deep. He does have a buyback. Aster, this is their last little bit that they've got. And LGD, are they really just going to let them do? It looks like it. They force some buybacks, and then they back up. Roshan going to be out in about 25 seconds time, looking like it's... Is that a max respawn? That might actually be absolutely max. But that's got to be it, right, guys? 39k lead. What more do you need? FY, I think FY had a pretty good game here. He put quite a bit of pressure on mid. D-Stone still did just fine on the Invoker. We had all of the interesting skirmishes of 3v3 going back and forth on the mid lane. Maybe even kind of just gave up on pressuring the Voker past a certain point. Like, didn't even put down side traps. Just started farming the Ancients. Aster tried a couple of different times to, like, gank the TA or the Lycan while they were farming. It was never really that successful. And it feels like, as always, just such a great warding game from X-Nova. The vision control, scouting that smoke. We had, of course, had the slightly awkward moment with Ame getting trapped up on the cliff here and just getting brought down by Sylar. But other than that, I feel like pretty solid game for PSG.LGD. Alright, Aegis on the TA. Let's do this. Poor Radiant Courier getting brought down yet again. Sylar just wanted his Mjolnir. Are we not in Rapier territory yet, Sylar? Is that not where we're at? I guess feeling like they're not even pushing at the base well enough at this stage. FY, refresh a shard off cooldown in 3. Looking for it. He's thinking about it. He's only got the invis for another second or so. Who's actually... Does anyone still have buyback on the Radiant? No, D-Stones, did he buy up his... He's also bought him. Okay. Before he's getting worked on, they're going to jump in. They want this kill onto Chalice. Can they get it? They force him out of Cataclysm, but he's still down. BKBs have been popped. FY also getting Fiend Script up and controlled. He's going to buy back, but Aster... Alright, showing that they still have something to say about the state of this game. I'm going to sick some wolves. Oh, man. Alright, are we buying back? Are we just going for this? Alright. X-Nova in. Sylar, no BKB. He does have a Satanic. Getting decrepified to save him for the time being. Reset for the Lycan ultimate, it looks like. Only 40 seconds to go. This is the only remaining tower for Aster, and Chalice is just destroying it from long range. Jump in. X onto the Earth Spirit, trying to finish it. His defensive sacrifice still doing work, but Estones is controlled. FY jumps in. That's Echo Slam number 1. He's got Echo Slam number 2. XXS brought down. Let's give us, hopefully we get at least one highlight out of the end of this game. Salar retreating back to the fountain. And that's it. Looks like that's the only interesting moment. D-Stone jumping in with the Deafening Blast, buying another couple of seconds. Salar chasing out, but he's now being X'd. Stunned up by FY. Finished off. D-Stone's leapt upon. And finally, as the Ancient explodes, the GG. But only the one GG again. What is China not